Okay.
We're done.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, any minute, it should be live. Redirecting to YouTube. Welcome everybody. I am going to post the link in the Zoom, in the YouTube space in one moment. So you can check out YouTube comments and all right. There's the link.
Hi, Dante.
Hi.
Hi, Dante.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Okay. Ooh. Awesome. Okay, I'm here. We're gonna start now. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm Dante Starshine. Welcome to the Zoom or to the YouTube channel. I've been channeling the Pleiadian Council for 5 years now, and they are an interdimensional extraterrestrial group supporting our planet and evolving as many different extraterrestrial groups are. We can all develop our own connection to our guides, whether they are extraterrestrials or other beings, and this work is ultimately supporting us in our own growth in living a multidimensional life experience. This session happens every Thursday here on YouTube at, I guess, 12 noon Eastern time. And you can join in Zoom chat and, or rather on the YouTube, and ask your questions live, or that's suggested because when you interact live, you get the chance to go a lot deeper with the Pleiadian Council, but it's also possible to type your questions into the chat box or into the Zoom chat box, and somebody will read the question out loud at some point. So this is all done freely, and I accept donations to support the time that goes into this, and you can send that to either my PayPal or Venmo. The link is in both of the chat boxes. Really appreciate your support. It allows me to continue offering this freely and take care of all the things that need to go into making this and life happen. I also offer private one-to-one sessions. All of the info on that is on dantestarshine.com. In the new year, the prices will go up. So this is the last couple of weeks to get this year's prices. I'm also I teach a channeling course. We've gone through 2 rounds of it, and many of the people who participated have started the channel. Some have started their own channeling practice and now work with clients. And everyone has gone through a very powerful transformation in their lives as a result. So the next course is going to be starting sometime mid-January. And I don't have the dates officially up yet, but there's interest building. And you can talk to other people who participated in, and check out on the website page, there's a couple testimonial videos to get a sense of how deep this goes. So if you have any questions, you can schedule a half-hour consultation with me to see if it really resonates with you. And I would be happy to answer your questions and see if this program is a fit for you. You can also do it one-to-one with me if a group setting isn't the best, but the group setting allows you to meet other people and find people to practice with, which is a really, essentially the most important part of channeling or learning to channel. So when you are in this room, in the Zoom, please make sure that you're muted all the time, unless you're speaking. And I think I covered all the bases today. Bastiani is not here today. She usually reads questions and admits people to the room. So if there's anybody who, or several people who could volunteer to read out the questions that are in the Zoom chat or in the YouTube chat box, that would be really appreciated. And it would allow everyone to participate regardless of how comfortable they are hopping in. And I think we're good to go.
Dante, I can do the questions and also the YouTube and the participants. I have
Okay,
already
great.
opened them.
And Josh, can you let admit people to the room as the host?
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Do you want more than one host to help you do that?
Yeah, I'll make you a co-host too, Carol.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
And it's good that there's more co-hosts because that way, if Josh gets kicked out, then it's all good. It's 11:11 right now.
My Canadian connection.
Your Canadian connection?
Yeah, a tad bit unstable internet here. Just this section.
Yeah, that I wouldn't think that is something as typically Canadian. My Mexican connection is definitely a lot more sketchy.
Well, it's because my Canadian connection is sorry.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. All right, everybody enjoy. I'll see you in a little while. Hello, and we say good day to you this moment of your time. As the Pleiadian Council, it is a pleasure and honor to interact with you once again. We speak again on behalf of your own guides, of the Galactic Alliance, and many other beings supporting your planet in this grand awakening process. We thank you for allowing the bridge between our worlds to be open, as it allows both you and ourselves to expand deeper into connection with Source through discovering more of all that is. And for this, we are deeply appreciative. Now, let us begin with an opening message as we tend to do. And today, the title is Speaking Your Freedom into Being. This is a message for you about many of the ways in which you might be challenged by your world at this time and also in your own lives. What, first of all, does freedom mean? It means the ability to choose out of all of the options available to you, to know that there are many options available to you, to have self-directed actions in your life without falling into manipulation or being convinced by others that something that is not right for you is right for you. So your voice is crucial in moving deeper in the direction of freedom. Because without your voice, you are, in a sense, not standing for the direction that you wish to take yourself. You are not standing for what you believe to be best for yourself. And you are not letting others know exactly where your boundaries are. Sometimes many of you in your world become highly sensitive, and you develop the ability very easily to know what others are thinking and what others are feeling. Some of the time, in fact, much of the time, you are distorting these perceptions through your own beliefs and filters, your own preconceived notions about yourself and the other person. Though a lot of the time you are also correct. But when you start to experience this, you also start to think that other people might already have a sense of what you are thinking, what you are feeling. And when you live in this way, you give your power away to others. And you start to give into false expectations that they might be able to support you because they have that same gift of sensitivity that you have. In order to actually experience clear communication and clear boundaries, you need to speak all that is preferred and all that is not preferred to others. You need to make the message clear. And sometimes the message has to be repeated again and again because it does take practice and repetition, in a sense, to move through the many layers of which a habit or a belief is ingrained in one's consciousness. And sometimes you might find that after repeating your preference again and again and communicating it to others again and again, you still don't feel met, you still don't feel honored. And in these situations, then you must understand that the choice that leads you most in the direction of freedom might be to take a step away, to recognize that you do have the freedom always to break away from, break off from, disconnect from people, places, situations, groups that no longer serve you. And when you understand that and you can let go of things that no longer serve in the present, regardless of how much they served in the past, then you step into a higher vibration version of yourself, and you cultivate a greater frequency of freedom within your being. As this translates into your global situation in this moment, you may see that there are many limitations placed on you. And not only are there limitations placed on you, there are limitations placed on your ability to communicate ideas in regards to this current situation that you know is a pandemic. And the constriction of your ability to communicate has, in a sense, for many of you, stopped you from discovering what your truth really is, or has stopped you from communicating that truth in all of the ways possible. There is, of course, some validity to this. We do not speak in as great of a depth as we can publicly, because that would hinder the transmission of our message in a variety of ways, and thus it does not ultimately serve. However, there are ways that you can work around this as individuals. The core thing to understand here is that it's about the frequency with which you share information. Because true freedom always stems from a place of love. And love is always rooted in the understanding of choice. So the sorts of sharings that will get you stuck come from fear-based energy. When you share a truth from a place of fear, you put out a signal that, in a sense, constricts you. And it also puts others into fear mode as well. When you speak from that place of fear, the other people who, in some senses, might attempt to control also have the fear triggered within themselves. This fear is ultimately why all of these events and situations are actually taking place. It is that these individuals in power fear the loss of control of society. Your world is inevitably moving in the direction of even greater freedom. Your world is moving in the direction of immense personal empowerment and the awakening into higher dimensional experiences and the psychic gifts involved in them. It all again comes back to doing all that you do based in that frequency of love or excitement and passion. And by embodying that frequency as much as you can without insisting on outcomes, you will reach these higher realms of experience, and that effect will ripple out into your world. If you do that and that alone, you are already contributing to this grand awakening. Though there might be many other ways for you to do that. So yes, those who control are deeply afraid. They are deeply afraid that this awakening might cause them to have less of a grip on people. They are afraid that dis-ease might disrupt the flow of things, and the disruption of the flow of things would interrupt their cycle of accumulating greater power. And so much of what is happening is an immense reaction, and the fear they feel ripples down into individuals. They program messages that bring you to fear for your health, fear other people, fear living a normal life. And the more this vibration settles into the masses, the more isolated individuals become. Though again, what is happening is much like the analogy sometimes shared about the slingshot effect. The further you pull yourself back into the darkness, as if you were on a slingshot, the faster and quicker you will move forward into the light. And so many individuals have to go deep into that fear-based vibration up into the point they realize that it does not serve. And that does not mean they still don't need help from those who can truly embody this vibration of love. So know that when you fear the loss of your freedom, the loss of your sovereignty, the loss of the free-flowing nature of your world, the loss of travel, or whatever it might be, that to amplify the fear-based energy that other people are in, you create, in a sense, a great field of tension between yourself and others. And so in order to really speak up about these challenging events and situations, you must dive deeper into this frequency of love. You must see, in a sense, the positive aspects of all situations at hand. And when you understand the benefit it has for you in the way that it challenges you to work through belief systems, to come to free yourself from the trap of consensus reality and become more personally empowered in your own way, you can, in a sense, have gratitude for what is and still see the flaws and the limitations. You can have a deeper objective view of the way that these fear-based energies multiply themselves and divide people and actually create more disharmony and disease. Because again, the frequency of fear directly leads to disease. When you are in that vibration, your energy field, your body will gradually shut down and become more stagnant, more stifled, producing all sorts of harmful chemical cocktails in your brain that keep you in what you know as anxiety, depression, or even greater conditions. So knowing this fear does not serve, you can know and trust that whenever you feel this vibration as you share, that something about what you're sharing is not ultimately correct. Of course, there will be a certain degree of fear that you must break through. You must break through the beliefs that you cannot share your voice, the belief that sharing your voice will lead you to greater imprisonment. There are many agreements that some of you have with your soul counterparts in Orion, or even during times of witch trials in your planet, that lead you to fear being who you are. So the magic is in working through that fear by cultivating an even greater field of love despite the fear. Even if you feel fear, if you feel greater love, you can know that you're doing the right thing. This greater love manifests as a feeling in your heart that moves through your body, creating a warmth, tingling, a lightness, or expansion. It is an empowered sensation that pushes you forward, not from a place of frenzy or anxiety, but simply out of love, compassion, and trust that this feeling is source, is your higher mind guiding you to the highest possible outcomes. It is time that more of you express the truth that you do not consent to what is happening. Because if, again, everyone remains silent, what is happening can continue. By this point, there is enough evidence that the levels of control governments and institutions are taking is irrational, is having negative effects on the mental health of the masses. And many of the measures themselves are having negative effects on the health of individuals. So if you can say the truth that you don't consent and that there is another way possible, and you can stand for what you truly want and what you truly believe to be the path of healing and liberation for yourself and for humanity, then you will be fine, you will be safe, you will be protected in this. You do not need to spread ideas, spread theories that you cannot necessarily back up. You do not need to, again, share the evidence when you know that some of this evidence will be blocked or banned. You can, in a sense, navigate around some of the barriers that take place on some of these platforms and communicate this information to people directly. And again, having no insistence on outcomes is key in this process, because if you attempt to communicate a truth that somebody is not willing to hear, and you insist that they listen, it is very likely that you will make them even more resistant to receiving the information. Also, when you insist, you guarantee that you will experience greater pain or dissatisfaction in any events that seem as if they are rejections. Know that, again, as you sort through which connections work and which don't work in this time, you are being informed as to where to actually source love, caring, and healing energy, of where you actually belong, who is actually, in a sense, your soul family. It is okay that you share space and love and connection with people who don't agree with you. In fact, most of you will do this. It is important to be able to know when to not push and when to accept other people's belief systems. When the fear-based energy comes up, you reject other people's belief systems. Again, what we have already said in many transmissions remains true. The effect of this or that medicine depends more on your belief systems about it than anything else. So the key is actually getting in touch with your belief systems and not just doing something because other people are doing it or telling you to do it. And in the same way, you can't be that person telling other people to do something they don't believe is good for them. But you can step into a space of love and stand for your own beliefs, stand for your own truth. And in this way, you will also find this reflexively empowering in the ways that you can learn to set up greater boundaries, to create a stronger identity, to share with more people the truth of who you are, and let the love within you ripple out to others, again, knowing that it is the sharing of that love that does create this planetary awakening process. And we and many other beings are a part of that process with you, supporting you. So do stay in tune with us, in connection with your guides, and trust that this is all part of a greater unfoldment. Even though many steps of the journey are a bit rocky, you will find the way there through love. And again, that is the only way to reach this new earth with open contact and hybrid children, and a sort of revolutionized way of doing things that you are seeking, hopefully. So we thank you once again for tuning in to this transmission. And now we ask all of you, how can we be of assistance with our reflections on any of your comments, sharings, or questions?
I have a question, but there's also a written question. I don't know what to do. Oh my God.
You can ask your question.
My question is no, I can't speak English, but my question is pertaining to the timeline splitting. I don't really, I'm wondering how exactly that looks. I'm kind of not really having a clear picture right now, even though it has been talked about a lot.
Well, Do you understand again the idea that in every nanosecond your vibration is shifting billions of times,
Yes.
and every one of those shifts brings you into a different potential reality, and therefore every time you make a decision, you split off from a different timeline of a different version of yourself who makes a different decision. Both of those realities exist. And
Right.
also, at collective levels, there are many different timelines that the collective takes path on. There are an infinite amount of these timelines, and sometimes the energy between them can bleed through.
Right. So this is something that I wondered about, right? Because you just mentioned the collective shifts and everything, and I think Bashar said once like that we choose our collective in a sense. So is that correct to your?
Yes, you do choose the version of Earth you're on.
Right.
At a soul level, of course.
Huh?
But again, the personal level of the decisions you make in following your passion to the best you can will bring you more in alignment with that preferred timeline.
Okay. That's good. Maybe do you want me to read the question that somebody has asked?
Yes, go right ahead.
All right, the question is, I have experienced many spiritual people recently becoming very one-sided in shifting to a following of the Bible and letting go of all their spiritual abilities and interests. Can you comment on this as a phenomenon and what's behind? It's been a bit scary to watch what seems like many colorful personalities almost fade away as a result.
Yes. Well, again, you can see this as a time of greater clarification. As the world is under greater pressure, people are coming to explore beliefs and narratives that might have been beneath the surface for some time. So here what you are seeing is that perhaps hidden in many of these seeming spiritual people, there were still dogmatic beliefs. And in a sense, they were cycling back around. Many of these individuals may have first come to what you consider New Age spirituality from a religious background. The underlying beliefs from that religious background were always there. They just came to be then translated through the lens of a sort of perennial vision of spirituality. However, that led them then to circle back to those originally held dogmatic beliefs. And this is true for many of those that you would consider, or who would consider themselves rather spiritual. We don't consider this spiritual. In our world, we don't have a definition of spirituality, nor do we have religion. Everything is spiritual. Existence is spiritual. We understand spirit to be within everything. And so all that we do is spiritual. And especially those things that have a higher degree of excitement, love, and passion are incredibly spiritual. And this then means that everybody's way of connecting with spirit is totally and completely unique. Even say, for example, if somebody connects to spirit through body work, everyone will have their own way of expressing their passion. Everyone will have their own way of that being in alignment with who they are. So this means that there are so many ways of being spiritual innately. And the old way was very much based in fear, coming from times in which survival was much more important to you, and staying together, in a sense, was very important. there were beliefs that were developed that would keep everyone adhering to one way of doing things. This itself is incredibly archaic and totally out of alignment with true spirituality. This is what we would call religion and dogma. Many people have this as part of what they consider their spiritual practice. There is one way to do things. There's one way to wake up in the morning. There's correct things to eat, and there are incorrect things. There are things that you have to say, and there are things that you absolutely cannot say. There are desires that are good and desires that are bad. And we invite you to see all of these concepts for, first of all, the belief on which they're based, and from the context of the time in which that belief arose, what purpose did it serve? If you have any rules for yourself, ask yourself, from what time did this rule emerge? Most likely, the rule did not even emerge in your own lifetime. Then ask yourself, does this rule still serve me? And if it does, you can work with it, but understand it is better to have more amorphous guidelines than it is to have rigid rules. You can trust that there will be even greater clarification in this field of what you consider spirituality. For while many people have grand and open ideas that help them step into a heart space, there are still divisive and negative dogmatic beliefs. And again, the most important thing to understand is this basic mechanical understanding of what is positive energy and what is negative energy. Positive energy unites, synthesizes, brings together, expands, and feels like love, relief, expansion, and connection in your body. When you are fully immersed in positive energy, you feel in love with life. Much like that feeling you get when you are in love with somebody, that feeling can be with you all the time for yourself and for life itself. Negative energy divides, separates, and segregates. It keeps you feeling disconnected from others and focuses on the ways that you are exclusively different from others rather than distinct from others. It focuses on what makes you other or makes others different, othered. And this energy feels like isolation, like stagnation, like judgment, like arrogance, like fear, like sorrow. It can manifest in a variety of ways. But if, again, anything that you consider spiritual leads you to experience negative energy or negative reactions to others, then it is not truly spiritual at all. It is, again, a negative belief branded as spirituality. And your world will be sorting this out for the next 100 years. Because again, we would describe religion as the very densest organizational structure on your planet, the very most negative hierarchical system on your planet. And yes, so much of what you have heard from religion comes from mystical experiences that were positive in nature and were manifest in beings that were highly what you consider enlightened. But again, that happened thousands of years ago. And from then to now, all of the negative beliefs that were customs of those times have been perpetuated and perpetuated for no sake other than keeping one true to an identity that is essentially very negative.
Yeah, sounds cool, man.
All right. Well, we're
So-
glad you're excited about it.
Huh? I'm excited
We are
about it.
glad you're excited about it.
Yes, of course. I'm just speaking because nobody else is. If somebody else wants to ask something, go ahead. But if not, I could also talk about something.
I would like to ask one question.
Okay,
All right,
go.
yes.
Hi, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes, welcome.
Thank you for this interaction. I have a question about state of being. For example,
Yes.
2 days ago, like the day before yesterday, I was really passionate the whole day. Such a high vibration, everything was flowing perfect, full of energy. Then the next day, I wake up totally exhausted, absolutely no energy at all. I'm in a very bad mood, angry the whole day. And I'm just wondering, like, before I had also ups and downs, but it's now like the ups are really ups and the lows are really low, if I could say like this. What exactly is happening?
Well, that is a natural process of what you might consider ascension. Because again, as you reach for these higher highs, your energy does vibrate much quicker. It accelerates. You are, in a sense, crossing deeper into the dimensional threshold with your consciousness. And reaching these high vibration states will bring out the negative belief systems that are still dormant. Because again, things work through resonance and dissonance. When you resonate with a particular frequency, you attract that frequency in your outer reality. Yet there's a simultaneous process of dissonance. When you have a very high vibration, it creates a discordant resonance with the lower vibration junk that you are still holding on to. And thus it comes to the surface quicker because now there is, in a sense, more light, more clarity to show you what was hidden in the dark and in the obscurity. So now you can trust this process, continuing to raise your vibration, continuing to trust that when the negative energy comes up, all you have to do is essentially feel it, is allow it, is not attached to it, identify with it, or get attached to any particular outcome, and simply be present with it and do what you can to bring it to move, while again remembering that following your passion is the way to raise your energy back up to the higher frequency. Doing this as quickly as possible will accelerate the process so you can integrate whatever those belief systems are.
Thank you very much. This was really helpful.
Yes, so thanks to you as well. And we remind everybody, if you would like to go deeper with us, tomorrow there is a private transmission. It will allow for a greater exploration of many of these ideas, and also a personal connection for you to share things that might not feel comfortable in this space, and also a deeper exploration of the themes related to those sorts of things happening in your world that we cannot actually talk about on the platforms on which this is shared. So contact the channel to participate in this if you would like. Well, yes, let us continue now.
Hello, Great Council. How are you feeling?
Hello, yes, welcome. We are always fantastic.
That is super excellent. I'd have a question for you guys.
All right.
It's kind of piggybacks off what was previously said.
right.
Noticed a spike of, let's say, an easier time noticing those hidden subconscious traumas, and then having this roller coaster, very quick roller coaster of feeling amazingly sad, then feeling amazingly angry, then feeling amazingly compassionate, all rattling out. And it felt odd at first because it's as if I was, going through so many phases of myself in a single moment, but it felt amazing. Is that normal for the process in a way?
Yes, absolutely. Again, remember, you are going into multidimensional states. And also this means that you are able to experience many different emotions at once. These emotions can come from different times and spaces. And it can also be that many different belief systems are activated at once. So you are seeing all of the different lenses through which your energy is distorted all at once. This is good because it gives you a full spectrum sense of who you are. In, again, lower frequency states, one emotion predominates at a time. You fall under the spell of one perspective or one belief for a given period of time until another one comes to dominate. But again, in higher frequency states, you are able to experience everything simultaneously. And this is ideal. It means that you don't go into essentially a manic state, because again, the swing from mania and depression is much more common in your world than many of you think. And what happens when you do this is that the actions taken in one state amplifies the next state and keeps one in a loop. The trick is to be able to remember the positive emotions when one is experiencing negative emotions, and remember the negative emotions when one is experiencing positive emotions. Know that they're all there. Know that all of your beliefs are still there in place until you have convinced yourself that that belief is invalid and illogical and impossible. So the best thing to do is have an awareness of all of them at once. And this allows you to have a deeper connection with yourself and allows you to act clearly and deliberately, honoring everything within you and not, in a sense, bulldozing or ignoring and neglecting parts of yourself.
Wow, that's wonderful. It's quite wonderful. Okay, especially always towards the end, this aspect of utter compassion for everyone after the whole emotional clearing. Is it normal that there's I don't necessarily know if it's something that's going on recently, but the body kind of shaking a bit more, or feeling a bit more trembling? Okay.
Well, that is, again, the release of chemical constituents of emotion lodged in the body.
Okay.
Your body shakes to shake loose the chemical constituents of the emotion that is trapped there. This is especially true when there's some experience of trauma. Even if it is the trauma of neglect, the body can still shake. Again, the natural response of somebody who has experienced trauma is to shake. You see this in animals. When something frightening happens, they might sit and shake for a period of time. Yet humans who have become disconnected from their emotion and conditioned to get back into a calm, good state as quickly as possible for themselves and for others, interrupt the integration of emotions. They don't allow themselves to shake. They don't allow themselves to feel. And so when all of the built up energy from traumatic experiences has to clear from the body will shake quite a bit. And so you might get used to the shaking and trust for some periods of time. The shaking will come up, and use it as that release process and surrender to it deeper. When you have no resistance to the shaking, you will shake it loose much faster.
That's magnificent. Great, thanks. This co-creation is amazing.
Thanks to you as well.
Hello, beautiful friends.
Hello, yes, welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. I would like to share with you again about my client who was having a negative attitude. Finally, I decided to stop working with the client as we reached a point where I couldn't see a way that we can work together positively anymore. So I wrote an email that I don't prefer to work with them in this way. And the response was that I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. I feel with my heart that this decision was positive and it was speaking my truth. And I felt relieved when I wrote the email. But I also have doubts in me that this might have been an emotional decision. And I would like to ask for your guidance.
Well, do you prefer to not work with this client? Is it easier for you? Is it more exciting for you that you don't have to deal with that person's energy?
Yes, because I know that I did my best to see from the neutral perspective and to have a positive attitude, to not take things personally as you advised me. I did my best.
And the person was not able to release their own negative beliefs.
Well, the response, they kept being negative. They refused to pay for a part of my work and so on and so forth. And even the email that they wrote back to me was, in a sense, diminishing, because they said, we never asked you to do anything big for us. We just asked for small services and products.
So you can see that letting this go really allows you to move on from a situation that does not resonate for you.
Yes.
That is all right. You can use this as a lesson. You can use it as a lesson as to trusting who feels right to work with and who doesn't, in trusting how to stand up to intense negative energy, and knowing that when somebody is bringing negative energy and refuses to stop, the best thing to do is to step away.
Okay, I just needed to make sure that this decision was positive, mechanically positively.
Yes. Again, if it feels loving, if it feels exciting, you cannot do anything wrong. Of course, sometimes there are negative repercussions of doing what is exciting and what is essentially the right thing. But again, that doesn't mean that there would not be rather even greater negative repercussions of not doing the other pathway, or rather choosing the other pathway. In other words, yes, you might still experience some loss in choosing what's exciting, but choosing what isn't exciting will often involve greater loss. This feeling in your heart is always guiding you down the right pathway, and sometimes, yes, it is possible that you might feel regret for a period of time, but when you can, again, look at all the positives in any given situation, you can generate the positive energy within you to move forward. And so now the best thing to do is to, again, cease to vibrate at that same field of resonance that this person is vibrating at. Perhaps you can consider you attracted this kind of person because there was still a certain level of negative energy within you that sought a resonant match. You got the resonant match to show you that some of this energy is still alive, and you can say to this energy, I don't want this anymore, this doesn't serve. And again, use this stepping away from this person to step out of that negative attitude within yourself.
Thank you from all my heart and much love.
Oh, thanks, and love to you as well.
I can read a couple of questions from the Zoom if no one has questions.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, there is a question from Mahalo. Surely, as though possible timelines already exist, the Pleiadians are aware of these, whether bad and good as we might describe them. All extremes and all middle paths already happened here and now. Does this not release us from some heavy ideas?
Yes, you can use that to release you from some heavy ideas if you would like. You can, again, understand that the fact that it is all here and now means that you never miss out on anything. Again, remembering that when your soul goes beyond this physical experience, you can bring back all of the other timelines as your experience as spirit. So while you as a person, as this individual soul, might miss out on things, at the oversoul level, nothing is ever missed out on. And you can also work with this understanding that, again, it is all happening to help you see perhaps why the decisions and the beliefs that were active brought you to this timeline rather than others. If there's a timeline you would have preferred more, what was missing that prevented you from getting there?
What's missing is the stairs. Going upstairs. No.
And the other question is from Michael. Many teachers of success on this planet has talked about the power of making a decision and commitment to a goal or a cause. Can you comment on the energy behind how that works versus the formula?
Commitment is part of the formula. Commitment is the second part, to do it the best you can. The first part being follow your excitement. So commitment, yes, is doing it the best you can. However, the challenge of commitment is that sometimes something that is exciting in one moment is no longer exciting in the next moment. And some people are, in a sense, overcommitting. They say yes to something because sometimes everything feels exciting, or perhaps because they don't actually know how to say no. And as a result, they find themselves in precarious situations that they want to get out of. But their belief in the importance of commitment above all else keeps them in a situation that drains them of energy rather than feeds them with energy. And so, commitment must be, first of all, matched with your complete and grounded awareness in the present. Is what you said yes to yesterday still exciting today? Because if it is not, then it is time to release the commitment. Commitment does help in long-term goals. For many of you, after you go through a phase of, say, your personal self-discovery, which of course self-discovery is happening through your entire lives, yet when you wake up, so to speak, and you realize that your life does not have to be what you were conditioned to believe it should be, then you are in a very important discovery phase in which you are seeing what your preferences really are. You are getting to know who you really are by following your excitement and discovering yourself through it, discovering what resonates and discovering what doesn't. And this discovery phase can last from some 3 to 20 years, really, for everybody. Of course, again, discovery continues for your entire life. But the idea of this notion of a phase is that an individual will explore to a point in which they know at least a couple of things they want to be doing for the rest of their lives. And once you know what those things are, well, yes, it is quite important to commit to them. It is quite important to, in a sense, have a practice in which you are able to do them daily or do them often enough that you make progress consistently. And again, this cannot be done with an attitude of force. It must come from true power, which is always based in excitement. So the idea is to not attempt to do something when there is no excitement, but instead to cultivate the excitement. Cultivate the excitement by reminding yourself of what your goals are. Cultivate the excitement by remembering what it felt like to be so excited about this thing so many other times. Cultivate the excitement by remembering what the ultimate purpose of what you're doing actually is. And with that attitude, you might find the passion comes for you to naturally commit to something without, in a sense, of being a sacrifice, being a drain, or being something that you have to muster up energy in order to do, and rather something that naturally emerges out of your passion. So we hope this clarifies this notion of commitment a bit for you. And the highest potential vibration of this energy you call commitment would be experienced as devotion. It comes from a love that is so powerful that it ripples out from your very being. And again, this will arise naturally when you continue to do what you love. Again, remembering that doing what you love is the greatest offering you can give to others and to all that is. Because as you raise your own vibration, it raises the collective field, and it creates a reflective field that can again inspire other people to step more in alignment with their passion themselves.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this transmission, as always. So grateful. So actually, following up from your insightful talk about commitment and devotion, how does one discern between fear-based obstacles when you feel that what you're doing in the long term is going to still be at a high vibration, but you come across an obstacle? And so how does one understand if that's a fear-based thing that I need to work through, or is it truly not at my highest vibration and my highest passion anymore? Thank you.
Well, imagine the solution to the obstacles already there. If you knew exactly what to do, would you still be burdened by the obstacle? And then if the answer is yes, you might want to consider, how is it going to be once I get through the obstacle? Will it still remain very exciting? This is ultimately a case-by-case thing, because really certain obstacles must be overcome. We would say more of them than not, it is better to overcome. But sometimes an obstacle, what you are terming an obstacle, is rather a reflection that the people or the group or the pathway that you were connecting with is no longer a resonant match with your excitement. It is no longer reflective of who you are. And then the obstacle is that your passion and your priorities are different than the priorities of others. And so that sort of an obstacle is one where it is better, like we have said to somebody before, to move on and use it as a lesson.
So may I follow up by asking that, so
Yes.
that what I'm terming as obstacles is something I'm self-labeling already as an obstacle, and perhaps it isn't really an obstacle.
Perhaps not.
Okay. All right. Thank you. My unconditional love. Thank you so much, Pleiadian Council.
Our love and blessings to you as well.
I have a question and a comment, kind of.
Yes.
Nice to be here with you today.
And nice to connect with you as well.
This is the third time I've attended. And each time that I've attended, I've received energy. I can feel it coming down into me, and also I can feel opening in my heart chakra. And also the visualization that we did last week with the animals in the forest, I felt this immense hug from all these different animals, which was so amazing. So I wanted to thank you for that, and see if you have anything you want to say about that.
We thank you for sharing this experience, and we say that yes, we, in a sense, offer a resonant energy field that allows you in turn to connect with your own higher self. So through connecting with this energy, your own guides connect with you more because your frequency raises. Your higher self connects with you more because your frequency raises. And you can also learn to continue to raise your frequency higher and higher, even without our connection.
Right.
So, of course, it will help, as the connection of any channeled being will help. But again, it is your willingness to raise your frequency that allows the energy of your higher self in. Somebody who chooses not to believe in us and chooses to judge an event or transmission of this nature would not have the same experience. So in turn, we thank you for allowing the energy of your own higher self to be integrated. And we encourage you to thank yourself for being open and receptive, because nothing would happen if you were not choosing to be open and receptive.
That's really nice lesson, because I've been working on gratitude, and in my gratitude list, I never thank myself.
Yes. Well, that is the first person you ought to thank, because it is you who has set everything up in your life ultimately.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
your higher mind guided you, that is source, and others supported you, but you have made every decision. You have carved the path out for yourself. So have gratitude for yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Thank you for that. Okay.
And you're welcome. Somebody else has any question at this time? Are we connected?
Yes, I would like to ask one question.
Yes.
Recently, I started to have some crazy and horrible dreams related to blood, related to people losing their arms or legs or stuff like this, and dreams about taking drugs, which is chapter which I have closed long ago in my life. And I'm just wondering why exactly this is appearing right now, because this is definitely not my passion.
You are being reflected certain fears now.
So how may I use that in a positive way? Like, I know that.
Do you first of all believe that you are not going to make the same mistakes you might have made in the past?
I believed I learned a lot from the past, and that I would not do that.
All right. Then is there a belief that says that you might lose energy in other ways?
That's possible, but probably it's unconscious.
Yes.
I never thought about
The
it.
dream is inviting you to make it conscious. The dream is inviting you to see that there's an unconscious attitude that fears losing energy within you.
So how may I identify it and make it conscious?
Well, the dream has helped. Though, do you see other ways in your life in which you are fearing that you will lose energy or health?
That's strange, because I actually I extended my morning practices. Before they were like 1-2 hours, but now they are like 5 hours with the Tai Chi, meditations, charging the crystals and everything. And maybe now that you mentioned this, somehow I'm trying to ensure myself that I'm not losing energy.
So you are using the practices above and beyond what might be exciting as a compensation to ensure that you don't lose energy. So you can be aware of some level of fear in your behaviors.
So I should shorten them a little bit? Or
Well, you don't need to, but you would be best being completely aware of the energy that is motivating you. Is it really your passion to do this for that long? If it is, that's great. But if it is not coming from passion, but coming from a fear that if you don't take that much care, something will go wrong, something bad will happen, then really what you are experiencing is a fear-based belief motivating you rather than true passion.
from one side, I'm really passionate about doing it, and then when I don't have enough, sometimes when it happens that I don't have enough time to do it, and then I get angry, and actually I get scary that all my day will start in a wrong way.
So that anger and that fear is showing you that there's a fear-based belief in place that says, without this, something will go wrong. Without this, the day won't go right. But again, remember that you don't need your emotional state to be positive to be in a positive state. A positive state is a positive attitude. Positive attitude is being open, loving, and accepting to yourself and to what is in all moments.
Yes, I understand this. I believe that I'm mostly using it because when I have these moments of low emotional states, it's kind of I'm transitioning it in an easier way. This is what I believe. It's how.
Yes. And mostly that's happening. So we would encourage you to really listen to your body and to your excitement. Notice throughout the whole practice, does it still feel exciting to be doing this? Is this still what I would be doing above everything else? And if it is, continue. But if you notice that you are pushing because you are attempting to get somewhere and you were afraid of what happens if you don't get there, then it is better to back off and look at those fear-based beliefs rather than fight them.
That was really great insight. I'm gonna elaborate and see tomorrow while I'm doing my practices what things will come up. Thank you so much, and my unconditional love to you.
Unconditional love and gratitude.
Victory of the light.
Yes.
I wanted to chime in about what was said on religion, because it lit me up because my preference and my passion is being unaffiliated. And another passion is just thinking, and, you know, when I think about rainbow, which is a fun thing to play with and to define because it is so wavy, but one way it can be defined, what is a symbol for literally is like full spectrum. So radical inclusivity, it almost, and this unaffiliation almost. So it's like this non-identity identity. And most importantly, like one thing we can all rally together with behind. So that's exciting to me. And I think there's just clarity in that with a lot of people. And I wanted to say thank you, Dante, and thank you, Council.
Oh, I think so as well. And yes, we would reflect that this group of people, this organization, that you call it Rainbow, is certainly not a religion. It is more of a community.
The connection might have had an issue. We're gonna wait a few seconds, guys. Ultra texting.
Hello.
Welcome back. It had disconnected during the answer.
Oh, all right. All right. So yes, we thank you, our unconditional love to you as well. And we would say that this group you describe as Rainbow is very dissimilar to the vision, as it is simply a group of people coming together based on principles of unconditional love, and as you said, radical inclusivity. There is no dogma behind it. So of course, in all human consciousness, there are certain trappings that and shadows that might be present. So always be open to seeing them, more so in individuals and as well in every collective as well. But again, this is a much more high vibrational group of beings, and we do see it as growing and expanding and catalyzing awakening for many
I suppose I don't yes, the rainbow gatherings, but just rainbow, the symbol, it's a kind of feels unaffiliated in itself, because when did rainbow start? In the 70s or something like this? Kind of like a timeless thing that's kind of it feels like it's bigger than rainbow gatherings. I mean, it's just kind of like one symbol that is for all, open for all, for not even having any meaning. That's kind of the non-identity thing. And so beyond rainbow gatherings, the true unaffiliation of non-identity, like all welcome, all things, all realities, all possibilities. And when we can collectively be together with that, even though it feels very optimistic, and like something that would
The rainbow itself is, again, simply light. The rainbow is the embodiment of light. It is the full spectrum of light. And light is essentially what all is made of. So in this sense, the rainbow is that universal symbol. And as it includes all shades and hues, it includes all different beings. And well, yes, there are many different groups of people in your world that come to use this rainbow as their own symbol. And for all, it represents that idea of total unconditional love and total inclusivity, which is, again, that quality of the light.
Thank you.
Yes, so thanks to you.
May I ask another question? No one else?
Yes.
As the other participants shared, I've also been feeling a beautiful mixture of emotions. At times I'm feeling empowered and brave, and I am making progress at work. And at the same time, I am crying a lot, having a racing heartbeat, not sleeping very well. And I feel this is a process of acceleration, and at the same time, I feel scared of what I could manifest or what could change for me. And I also had an ET dream that I feel is related. I saw 3 or 4 green ETs in a car passing by me, and I was very, very happy to see them. I was waving at them, and I even said, "I love you." And at this moment, they looked at me and they said, "Oh crap." Sorry for the word. And I would like to ask you what belief systems are holding you back?
Well, ask yourself that question. What belief systems are causing these kinds of emotions? What are you thinking about when you are feeling these resistant emotions?
It's like I would like for things to accelerate. At the same time, I don't know what to expect, and I'm scared of what could actually happen.
So what would you be afraid of? What could possibly go wrong?
For example, ET contact.
Yes. Have you followed the permission slip suggested by the other channel being the Bashar of printing out an image of an SSRE being or a gray being and putting it in your window?
Yes, I am doing this exercise every day.
So you have it in your window still?
Yes, I try to exercise with the lights off and with the decoration.
And how does this make you feel?
I felt a little bit scared with the exercise with the lights off, but very little. And then I moved on with the decoration, and now I just read the decoration from my heart. And I listen to transmissions. I have dreams about ETs, and I'm very excited about ET contact. At the same time, I guess I am still harboring some negative beliefs.
Well, don't beat yourself up about it. Here you can see another belief that is being ashamed of your own negativity in some way, or being ashamed that you are not yet perfect. So what you can also see about this is it is an invitation to let go of all beliefs that insist that you must be perfect and that you are not lovable and great if you are not perfect. Again, everyone in your world has some degree of negative beliefs. And you won't be able to deepen your awareness of what negative beliefs are there if you have a belief supporting any degree of shame about having a negative belief.
That is absolutely accurate, and I'm very grateful for your guidance.
Gratitude to you as well. Something more about this?
I will work on this, and I will see what happens.
All right. Yes, and we trust as when you step into greater love and acceptance of both your positive energy and your negative energy and all of the ways that that manifests, you will be able to step more into this place of equanimity. Because again, this acceptance is a neutral energy field, and it neutralizes the negative beliefs. When there is no shame and there's no negative beliefs supporting that shame about negative beliefs themselves, you'll be able to transform and transmute them much quicker.
Thank you for my unconditional love.
Our unconditional love to you as well.
If no one has a question, I could read one question from the Zoom.
Hello? The channel is having disconnection issues.
I could read a question from the Zoom if no one has a question.
All right. Yes, that will work as well. We're sorry, the channel had a disconnection issue again, but we are here.
You have previously talked about how we channel our personalities and beliefs into being. Does this open up for potential permission slips to channel a very similar version without certain negative beliefs versus finding and changing beliefs?
Well, in a sense, those two practices are one and the same, but we can see how they are different ways of thinking about going about doing this. So, yes, when you encounter a negative belief, you can invite yourself to imagine a version of yourself who does not have that negative belief anymore. And the more that you imagine that and get a sense of what that would feel like, the quicker you will tap into becoming that version of yourself. So this will work to bypass the negative beliefs themselves. You still have to become aware of that negative belief in order to move past it. And sometimes you can actually move past many negative beliefs without very deep self-awareness, in which you would consider permission slips that work with deep emotional release. Oftentimes, by experiencing the emotional release, belief systems are released and transformed, and you might have awareness of that happening, but it is not as intense, or it is not as intellectual as it is when you use the mind to probe into what negative beliefs are there. Nonetheless, both methods are important, and they allow for different aspects of these beliefs to come to the surface. So you can work with any of these methods. Again, it is up to you what is exciting for you in the moment and what is resonating for you in the moment, and it will certainly provide the transformation that is required at that time.
Hi, Great Council. I have another question,
Oh,
if I may.
All right, yes.
I have recently noticed or came into more of an understanding of our human mechanics where we are deeply compassionate with each other, meaning if you see a person kind of stubbing their toe, then you're going to feel it. But if you see a person smile, then you're going to smile like a smiling baby. It's a natural thing without any words or concepts or definitions. And there was also stories about people doing bilocations, but due to not having the language of the place that they bilocated to, they were simply sharing their knowledge telepathically. And I was wondering, is that how your council, how your civilization works when it comes to thought transfers or even communication, your standard communication? Is it like that?
Yes, in a sense, we communicate with each other through resonance, and that resonance is felt instantaneously. We immediately feel all of the emotions and thoughts that are going through another being, and we can accentuate them and we can share deeper, depending on if it is resonant in that given situation. But yes, we are so deeply telepathic that instantly energy is shared and communicated from one being to another.
And that has no, let's say, barriers of communication, meaning there's no language barrier in that aspect.
Well, again, we don't
like,
use language. We know how to read frequency, and we can interpret the frequency of any being, whether they are from our world or from another world, through our own understanding instantaneously.
And yes. So it's more of a feeling transfer instead of words. That's truly fascinating in that regards.
Yes, because again, words give meaning to all of the feeling, and words help you decipher that. But there are levels beyond that, and it will take some hundreds or even thousands of years, but you too can evolve past words.
This is going to look promising. Great, thanks.
Thanks to you as well. We would invite anyone who has not yet asked the question, but would like to speak up now if you would like.
Hi, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes.
I'm curious about something that I hear quite often from the elders on this planet about how important it is to use sounds and create sounds in a sacred way to create experience and harmony on the planet. And I'm curious about perspective in this way. Is this something that your council does throughout the universe? Just curious. Reflection.
Yes, we do. We use sound frequencies to amplify intention and to communicate information to each other. Again, while feeling is instantly communicated and we can have nonverbal communication, we often do use sound to amplify and to accentuate and to clarify communication. We have a very different experience of sound, and most extraterrestrial groups have a way of using sound for many purposes, like healing, entertainment, what you consider spirituality, and so on and so forth. And in your world, sound has that same power. You can understand that frequency will always have a deep impact on your body and on your field. So the things that you listen to and hear on a regular basis are in many senses shaping you. So do choose what you listen to carefully. Be aware of the intentions of the creators of such music or sound frequencies. Again, you are also already using sound. So the sound of your own voice is a natural way to get attuned to sound. When you speak with intention and notice the way your voice vibrates in your body, you can come to see that certain ways of intoning and accentuating your own vocal patterns can be a healing frequency itself. It can be a sonic massage of your heart and throat and different parts of your body to allow that sound to, in a sense, vibrate the cells. This is happening, and this is people upgrading themselves with their words. But when it is done with intention, that power is amplified. And yes, of course, when you use song and sound healing or methods of this nature with intention to create a certain energy field or space, as you say, you can amplify your intentions and you can create fields of great positive energy to accelerate healing, awakening, and or whatever your intentions may be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you as well. And we would also say, be aware that there are sounds that you don't hear. Remember, everything is vibrating. One sound that is very helpful to remember is the sound of the core frequency of the Earth. The solid core of your planet is vibrating and sending a frequency that you cannot hear, but it is a frequency nonetheless. That frequency vibrates through everything you stand upon, walk upon, lay upon, and so on and so forth. That frequency is always there. And of course, there's also frequencies of planets and celestial bodies far away, but also every object around you is vibrating. It vibrates with the Earth frequency and vibrates with the various things around. So be aware that, again, sound is much more than what you hear. It is also frequency and resonance, and it is always happening, regardless of whether or not you bring awareness into it.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks to you as well. What is the time?
Yeah.
From Canada this time, 1:42.
All right. We can have one or two more questions, depending on their length.
Do we have anything on YouTube, Mario?
No questions on YouTube.
All right.
I would like to ask something about sound frequencies.
All right.
If possible. I listened today a transmission of Bashar where he was speaking actually about this gamma waves, which is 40 hertz. And I started looking over YouTube for this kind of frequency that I'm excited. I feel excitement to implement somewhere, somehow in my practices, in my meditations. And I'm wondering, now that you said it's very important to know the intention of the people who actually created this, how could I know that? Because I just like the picture, for example, the cover picture, I saw it's
well, that is enough of a communication of their intention. The intention of an artist is usually very clear. You feel it. You see it.
Because I actually listened.
So if they are offering you a frequency with the intention of healing, then you can trust that that's really their intention. You will feel the frequency in your body.
So I should just listen to it and see what feelings does it bring within me.
Yes. But what we are also saying is that you will know the intention of an artist or a musician simply by how their music feels and what energy it communicates.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pleiadian Council.
Yes, sir. Thanks to you as well.
So let's say C. I would think that you could write that in the output, right? Maybe that's that. So yeah, you know, I saw the one that I showed you this they created a new name for the juice bar, and then they have a new
All right. Let us close with a final meditation at this time. Closing your eyes. Bring your awareness into your body. Focusing on your heart center as you take 3 gentle deep breaths in and out. Filling your whole body up with breath, imagining your body filling with light as the air fills your lungs. And exhaling. Allowing your body to release, let go of any lingering tensions, any thoughts of the past or the future. Stepping here into the now, imagine great roots of light that grow down from your heart and out through the base of your spine and out through the soles of your feet. See them growing down through the earth, wrapping around the crystals, metals, and minerals, weaving through the roots of the other plants, streaming down through the underground water and magma, all the way to that solid core center of the earth. Feel this resonance here. Again, remember, the center is making a sound. That sound you cannot hear, but it is a vibration. Deepen your awareness into this vibration as you visualize this energy traveling upwards rapidly through all of the layers of the earth and entering your body, filling you, bringing your body to vibrate with the resonance of the earth.
So
picture this energy filling you all the way up to the top of your head. Imagine now a great tube of light that surrounds your body, a crystal chamber. See this crystal chamber going all the way down to the center of the earth and also all the way up to the center of this galaxy. Follow the chamber, these billions of light years away, the galactic center.
should we fill it up a little bit more before we
Picture that immense light and energy from the galactic center pouring down through many stars connected with the Galactic Alliance in your world,
that guy, that reason why I wanted to watch
through your own sun, and down into the top of your head.
No, but listen to me. The guy is a real boxer, right?
Picture this light descending down on your body, filling you, mixing with the earth energy and lighting every cell up powerfully.
But if you're telling me that I should have actually walked through the class, that guy is a real boxer.
Now we invite you to picture yourself in a brilliant field out in nature, gazing up to the sky. See one of our ships slowly descending and meeting you in the field. Out of the ship we step, and we invite you to come in with us. Feel the frequency that comes with our presence. Allow it in. Allow all of your responses to be there. Allow us to guide you to a very particular sound healing room.
So the schedule, I'll give you, what is today? Thursday? I'll give you like Friday.
We invite you to come stand in the very center of the sound healing room. We form a circle around you, as well as around us. There are vibrating panels and different sorts of instruments that might seem strange to you. These instruments respond to voice. They can be played through sound alone, through your own voice. And they simply amplify that. Perhaps you make sure you're muted if you want to participate in this aloud. So we invite you to make a sound, even in your mind, or out loud if you wish. And feel the sound go out into that sound healing room around you. As it does, feel it return to you by the instruments and by your own voices. Picture us singing, imagining your pitch, and hearing this sound resonate in your body. Picture great lights move and flicker around you and travel into your body as this frequency becomes amplified. Continue to allow your voice to deepen. Express whatever is true for you. Sing a song or simply make sounds. Sing your truth. And feel how this very energetic room amplifies that frequency, and the beings there amplify this frequency. We are here to help you find your truth. And as you speak your truth and as you find your true voice, it will be reflected to you. It will free you. It will take you down the path that is meant for you. It will connect you with those that share a similar truth. It will disconnect you from those who share a dissimilar truth. And both things are okay and good and to be celebrated. Feel as you share your voice, this energy amplifies in your body. The sound of these beings is reflected back onto you. It travels into every cell of your body as an immense and powerful light. You can come back to this room whenever you like. You can experiment with the many healing frequencies and healing chambers available to us in these ships. We are here to serve you. As serving you is serving Source, and we are always happy to do so. If you'd like to stay present there a moment longer, you can. If you'd like to return to your body, you also can, taking with you this amplified frequency of your own voice. Knowing that again, around you, your voice is always being reflected, is always finding the perfect acoustics to bounce back to you, and you will not necessarily find where you are meant to be going without speaking your truth. Of course, mistakes are made along the way, and all of them can be corrected, because the truly destined appointments cannot be missed. We love you, we thank you, we appreciate you for allowing these transmissions to take place, and for all the work that you do in following your passion and amplifying and accelerating that frequency for yourself and for your entire planet. It is a gift to us all. So with that, our thanks and love is with you now and always, and we look forward to our continued interactions in all the ways that you choose. All right.
That was amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you. That was really beautiful experience.
So welcome.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you.
Thanks everyone for being here.
Did you all feel? Did you feel it too, Dante? Inside the capsule.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I felt something because it was happening. Amazing. I'm glad it was a good experience for you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being here and co-creating this again and again. I really appreciate everyone. And again, reminder that the private transmissions tomorrow, if you'd like to join, $22 to $33. You can send it my way. I'll send you the link, and it's at the same time. So look forward to connecting then. And Again, the channeling course is starting again in about a month. So if you want to join, let me know. And if you've already participated, want to go another round, that's also welcome. So yeah, much love, many blessings, everybody.
Hi, thank you, Dante. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dante.
Thank you, Dante.
Welcome. How's everybody feeling?
Good.
Awesome. Thanks for joining. Good to see you here, Nicole.
Love these transmissions. Amazing.
Yay.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. So much love. Okay, enough people aren't so chatty today, so I guess I'll get going.
Yeah. Okay. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too, and look forward to, yeah, hopefully seeing you next week. And
Okay.
if you want to be there.
Of course.
Bye, everybody. Much love, blessings. Have a great day.
Bye.